workshops in September. And Max and I are talking about some ideas there for some formal classes, as well as Nando feels that it's about time to offer Healing 101 for individuals that want to learn how to heal and understand the ethical situation in healing, how to behave at the healing bench, not so much healing yourself, but healing others, and the social necessities in doing that kind of work. Okay. Now, that's the announcements. This lesson today is on service. And one of the things that's struck me pretty profoundly in the last 2 months especially, but even longer than that, and I was talking a little bit about it with Reverend Nando earlier today, is that there is a complete misunderstanding as to what the role of a minister is and what your obligation in service as an individual is. And so most of us have heard the saying, many are called, but few answer the call. And this is very true. And in fact, this can apply to just about anything in your life, but especially to your spiritual life. So many of us are called, and many of us are given great gifts of spirit. Yeah? We have these incredible awarenesses. We have these amazing, profound gifts that Spirit gives us, and we are astonished by them and surprised by them. And so what happens is it awakens us as spiritual beings. We become awakened. And once we're awakened, many of us, not all of us, many of us feel a desire to reach out to others who are also awakened. When this happens, there's an interchange of faith. Yeah? This is the scriptural understanding. An interchange of faith is an interchange also, hi there, of spirit. Which is very important for the body of spirit in the congregation. And I notice that's happening profoundly in this particular group of people. So people have come to me, and individually and privately, and said, how do I cultivate these gifts that Spirit has given me? What do I do? I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You can privately cultivate your gifts. But when you share them in that interchange of faith, then Spirit gives you more. See, it's kind of like a cup when you fill it up with water. You fill it up, you drink it, you can fill it up some more. And that's how Spirit works. If you fill it up and you just leave it there full, and you're not sharing any of it with anybody else, then it's full. There's no room for more. Okay? It's that simple. And this is very in line with abundance. If you think about it, it falls right into that universal law, that metaphysical and universal law, which says, as I give, so I receive. So if you want to really develop your spiritual gift, then my suggestion is, and always has been, to share it with others. And of course you can share it with me at first if you're self-conscious about it. You share it with your mom, you share it with your sister, share it with somebody that you feel confident and comfortable with that isn't going to shoot you down and make you feel stupid or weird or creepy. And, and then kind of expand your sphere of influence, right? And as you do that, you're creating your reality. This is who I am. This is what I'm capable of. This is what I can do. It's like anything else, like drawing. Do you remember doodling when you were a kid on your book cover? Yeah. And then you realize at some point, wow, I'm really good at this. If you showed it to somebody who was really critical and they went, yeah, you're not really good at this, then you probably didn't do it anymore. But if you showed it to somebody who thought it was pretty cool, then you wanted to do it some more. So look for companions that are going to build you up. Look for individuals that are going to encourage you. Somebody that's going to make you feel like this is something that I'm pretty good at, or that I'm getting better at. And you really can't be bad at it because it's a gift from Spirit, right? But practice makes you better with just about everything that we do. So this is part of our service as human beings, as awakened people. ones who are awake, we have to stay awake. You can't go back to sleep. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So we're always moving forward, we're always progressing, and we're always evolving. When we give without thought of compensation, we receive the best and greatest benefits from Spirit. There are individuals, and this is what I was saying earlier, I know of 4 ministers, 4 ordained ministers, wonderful people, talented people, passionate people with a deep relationship with Spirit, with God, with their understanding of what that means in their life. It has limited power in their day-to-day existence. And they want so desperately to have their own ministry. I want to open a school, I want to open a church, I want to open a center, I want to do all these wonderful things. And Spirit is just not giving them to me right now because maybe I'm not visualizing them well enough, or I'm not demanding them as strongly as I should, or maybe it's just not the right time and vibration, and it is none of those things. It is none of those things. It is about service. So, if you are not grateful for what you have, right? Grateful for the gifts of Spirit that you have already acquired, using them in your ministry, because now we're talking about ordained ministers, using them in your ministry to benefit who? Myself? No.
Others.
No, others. Others, benefiting others, then I'm not truly ministering, you see. I'm not ministering. And I'm not saying that giving a reading or doing a tarot card reading or giving a spiritual counseling session or doing a plethora of other wonderful activities, Spirit-born activities, are not wonderful. But unless you are truly dedicated to a ministry where you're giving of yourself and sharing your gifts with others freely, compassionately, with kindness, then you are thwarting your own efforts in spiritual advancement and in your ministry. I've also had a number of individuals that are ministers say to me, and some of you guys, I don't like being called reverend because that's pious. And it reminds me too much of Christendom. The Christian church or the established organization where I came from, whatever. And that's very interesting. But it's the wrong answer. Wrong answer. Okay. Yes, Joel Osteen is Joel Osteen. Joyce Meyer is Joyce Meyer. If you look at their bio, they are Reverend Joel Osteen and Reverend Joyce Meyer. Why? Because they are tall trees. They are leaders. And they need to be identified. You need to know where the tall trees are when you're in the forest. Yeah? So where do I go for shelter? Where do I go for somebody to comfort me and encourage me and be a light in the dark place for me? How do I know? Well, there are people that are naturally that way. And there are those that clearly mark themselves and identify themselves through their Spirit-born activities as those who are leaders, that are a shelter. What does that mean? That means they serve. Who do they serve?
Us.
They serve you. That's right, Peter. Because there's a confusion there sometimes. And I understand there's a dichotomy in that. Many times in mainstream religion, when we get that feeling, I'm not Mr. So-and-so, I'm Reverend so-and-so, that it comes off kind of, ew, excuse me, I didn't know that you were that important. And there's a difference between lording over people and saying, I am a servant of the Most High God. That's why you must call me Reverend. Well, clearly you're confused. Because God does not need servants.
Yeah.
He is complete and perfect in His own being. He, she, it. Mother, Father, God. Whoever it is that you understand. Complete and perfect. Complete and perfect. lacking that I need your help with, God? Thank you very much. I'm good. Okay? So, if you're not serving the Most High God and you're a servant, then who are you serving? You're serving your fellow man is who you're serving. Jesus made this very, very clear because in his day, with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, this was a huge issue. There was an elevation of the clergy class that was unreal. And he made it very clear. What is your job? Feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. That's simple. Clothe those that have no clothing. Feed those that have no food. Comfort those in distress. Because as you do these things to these, you're doing it for me. You know, the Buddha made it very clear, simple, compassion towards our fellow man is service and the road to enlightenment. Because as I serve, I receive. I receive the skills and the necessity of gifts to be able to serve. Which makes my job way easier. It's very nice to make it easy for me. Because you don't want it to be hard. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this and say, you know, what is it exactly that you are? What is it that it means to be a servant? You know, another scripture that comes to mind that's really powerful is that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. The greatest among you will be the least among you. So if you're lording over people and telling people, well, this is who I am, this is how I am, this is what I expect from you, treat me this way, treat me that way, then truly you're not really in the position or in the mindset to serve. You're really not. Because those that are the most powerful, those that are the most effective teachers and preachers and ministers, did you ever notice how humble they are? How kind they are?
Soft-spoken.
Soft-spoken, but when they speak, oh my gosh, do they have something to say? The Dalai Lama. How about Mother Teresa? She didn't talk a lot, but when she did, you listened. You listened to what she had to say. And not only that, but their behaviors were their lesson. Yeah. They didn't have to say anything, really. Did they have to say anything? They're kind. They're generous of spirit. They give. And so that's the role of the clergy. That is the role of the clergy in this church. And you see it. Nando comes. Reverend Nando comes. He heals. Every Sunday, every Thursday. He's not missed a single one. Why? Do you think he's never tired? You think that maybe he doesn't have something else he might like to do? I bet he does. Reverend Matt, the same way, diligently, comes from Tampa. It's an hour ride over here. Sunday and Thursday. Unless he has personal obligations that are his primary concern, because you can't really take care of others unless you're taking care of yourself, right? So if your household's not in order, you need to take care of that before you take care of anybody else. So he has some children things that he's done recently, which are pretty wonderful, and shares them with us so that you know where he is. Hey, where's Reverend Max? Oh, he's at his daughter's graduation. We know where he is. So it speaks a lot to what's going on here. You serve. You know what? You serve each other. I've seen it. First, you offer hospitality, you bring and you share. Did you notice before that wasn't the case? We weren't really doing that. It was put off on somebody else because we don't know you guys. I don't know these people. I come to church, I get my message, I get my healing, and I'm out of there. And that's not this anymore. That's not what this is anymore. So when you're missed and I'm sending you that text, it's not to check up on you and spy on you. It's to tell you, I noticed you weren't here. And so did everybody else.
And we miss you.
And we miss you. And we hope you're okay. So don't be like, geez, Louise, I can't believe she's texting me. Well, yeah, awesome. It's like, wow, my pastor missed me at school. She knows who I am. That's great. Different attitude, different energy. You bring your energy here and you share it. You assist in the healing of others. Yeah? You encourage each other and upbuild each other. And I know you've done other things for each other. I know that Peter has fixed people's cars that needed assistance. Yeah. Vivienne gave facials and makeovers and all kinds of cool stuff that she does. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Reverend Nando, I know that he's done Reiki healing for a number of our members. And massage. Pam, forget about it.
She doesn't do anything.
She does 1,000 things. So she's filming us, she does the newsletter, she makes suggestions, she proofs the website, and she does all kinds of stuff that is helpful to me, very helpful to me. Because guess what? I can't do it all.
Yeah.
And so what happens if I can't do it all? And you don't do something? It doesn't get done. So you serve each other. And in serving each other, we serve the community at large, because then others are seeing that, right? And they're going to want to involve themselves and they're going to want to participate. So we want to have not just an attitude of gratitude, but we want to have also an attitude of graciousness and gratefulness and service. Service to everyone. So next time you're holding the door for somebody in the grocery store, think about it. I'm serving somebody. I'm being kind. I'm extending myself to somebody else in a kind and generous way. All these little things add up. They put us in a mindset. They put us in a vibration. They put us in an energy to receive. To receive the blessings of Spirit in our life. To become more awakened and sensitive to people around us and their needs. That's what service is. It's not about, please don't call me Reverend. That's so snooty. It's not snooty. It's not snooty at all.
Respect.
It's respect for the position of service. And I know I can come to you and whatever I say to you stays with you. I know that you're not going to tell me something because that's how you feel, but I know you're going to tell me because that's the way that God feels. You're going to look at my situation with eyes that aren't personal. You won't judge me. You won't gossip about me. You won't send me in a direction that might be harmful. You'll protect me and be kind to me. And I need to know who you are so that I can come to you when I'm in a place where I need someone to care for me in that way. Okay? Really, really important. Those bright lights in a dark place, eh? Bright lights in a dark place, really, really useful. Really useful. And so we want to work on being a light in a dark place for each other. And that's what service is all about. And I leave that with you with its blessing.
God, that's so beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's very. That was deep. Yes.
It's just matter of fact. It's important, and I'll tell you, just about every lesson that I give is inspired from Spirit and an awareness of the need of the community at the time. The nice thing now is that I give this message to you guys and share this lesson with you, and now we'll be able to take it and send it out to all those that maybe weren't here that might benefit from that lesson as well, and go, wow, that totally changed my mind about the way that I view my minister, my pastor, my priest, my imam, you know, whoever it is that's in their spiritual scope, and say, wow, you know, I need to be aware that they really put themselves out for me and put myself out also for my friends. Okay, so now we're going to move into our meditation, and we're going to do a heart meditation today.